G'day and welcome to the first edition of the Footy Show.
21st season of existence.
Welcome back to Turn It Up.
Hello and welcome to the Sunday Footy Show. Get fired up.
The wait is over and let's kick it off now.
Oh, how good's that?
Oh, look at that.
These women are creating history.
Get that into you.
Champagne Rugby League.
Reece Wells will seal it from Brisbane. Cleary, who punches through the middle. Nailed. Got it back to Gunderson. How about that? Everyone is on their feet. Troll going to go back to back. What a kick. Tackle of the century. Here goes Nico.
Got one person sitting.
Munster's got it. There you go.
Oh, yes.
Ponga, yes.
How have they done this?
The crowd roar.
This is what you live for as a footy fan.
Yes, hello and welcome to the Sunday Footy Show. Hope you're having a great morning and have loved the footy so far this weekend. Here to talk everything on and off the field. Brad Fittler, Andrew Johns and Billy Slater. Gents, how are we? Got Adrian Morley on for Turn It Up, one of your Premiership winning teammates. You pumped for that?
What a legend. I had this moment with Moz every day. I used to catch a kickoff and Moz was always the one doing the kickoff. So we had this little 20 seconds together every single game we played. I used to love it, just watching him sprint into the defence.
Are we going to have subtitles on the two?
We can organise that.
Yeah. Very broad accent.
Yeah.
We chatted to him at the game a couple of weeks ago as well.
And his young fellow, I think his young fellow actually got to play today. Jonah, yeah.
Oh, good.
So it's
Good you Wombats.
going through the blood.
Very nice. So stay tuned for that. Adrian Morley coming up. Lots coming up on the show as well. So this is what is in store. It's been a great weekend of rugby league all across the country. A doubleheader in Perth. We'll relive all of those highlights, and Darwin as well. As we mentioned, Adrian Morley in the house. We're going to talk all of the highlights on and off the field. And Freddy's pass-off is back, so we've got some future footy stars in to the studio. So stay tuned for that a little bit later on. But first off, we're going to recap the results so far from round 6, and the Raiders braved the humid conditions up there in Darwin. A huge win over the Eels. The doubleheader over in Perth, the Cowboys made it 3 wins on the trot. The Bunnies struggling without a couple of their key players. The Sharkies back in the winner's circle, getting the job done against the Sea Eagles. Big upset for the Roosters against the Broncos up there at Suncorp Stadium. How good were the Dragons? They turned the entertainers down there at Wollongong. We're going to relive all of those tries. And the poor old Panthers, 5 losses in a row now. What does that mean for their top 8 chances, for their premiership chances? We'll delve into all of that a bit later. But Billy, how does the ladder stand at the moment?
Yeah, well, let's start with those Panthers. It's only for and against that's keeping them off the bottom of the ladder. Concerning times for Penrith. But at the top, the undefeated Bulldogs, they had the bye this weekend. They stay on top. Storm, Broncos, Raiders, big winners up there in the Northern Territory. They're in the top 4. The Warriors and the Storm, they play today. The winner of that will be in the top 4. And then there's a huge game this afternoon. The Knights and the Tigers. They're just hovering around that top part of the bottom 8. And the winner will stay in touch. The loser will feel a bit of pressure. So that's going to be a great game this afternoon.
I always love seeing Joey the morning of a Knights game. Like I can kind of sense the nerves.
I spoke to Danny Badiris before. He said it's pretty much a sellout.
Wow.
Sunday afternoon footy.
They always get a good crowd, though, even in the years they weren't
But this
doing
is
well.
bread and butter.
Yeah.
Sunday afternoon footy. It'll be just heaving up there.
Coming off the bye too, the Knights, they'll be fresh for this one. But the Tigers, they get a few back, so I'm really looking forward to this.
Pretty important for the Tigers. Look at Parramatta and Penrith. The mighty West isn't doing so well at the moment. There's only 2 wins between those 2 teams, and the Tigers have had 2 wins themselves, so not much glory out there at the moment.
Well,
Come on, West Tigers. Sunday salutes. You can go first today,
Yeah, mine is the Sharks fullback, William Kennedy, over there in Perth. I thought it was the best game I've seen him play. Unfortunately, this was taken off him for an escort, but geez, he played well. He scores a try later in the game. Just ball in 2 hands, just a natural footy player. I think the next try we'll see it. Just the skill that was taken off him for an escort, and right decision. Stone Street owes him a couple of beers for that. But then whenever there's a bit of ad-lib footy and you can get the ball to William Kennedy, he's the one. Just watch this. Once again, evasion, natural footy, gets away, ball in 2 hands, show, go, That is a try and a half.
Didn't that look like a former number 1 shark?
Oh, that's what I was thinking.
David Peake.
Second generation player. His dad played for the Tigers. He was William Kennedy also. So from Bathurst, great to see.
Well done, Will Kennedy. Freddie, who are you saluting this Sunday morning?
Well, I was watching the footy the other day and I didn't think words would actually do the justice. This one player, when he does it well, he looks better than anyone else. He's got balance, he's got grace, speed, power, he's got it all. So I've called on Soundgarden, actually, to give a tribute and do justice to the centre for the Dragons, Valentine Holmes.
Champagne Rugby League.
They're moving well. Out it goes. Holmes this time. Show us the money. And Ilias and Flanagan. Out it goes. Holmes is there. There's the shot. There's the man. Oh, lovely move. Holmes again. Gutherson to Flanagan. He's on his way. The Saints go marching in.
How good was that? It's just a bit more dramatic with some music, isn't it?
He's so good. When he gets it right, he looks better than anyone else, I reckon. He's got it all. The move on the outside was like, that was next level.
Balance. Yeah. And the ability to move before the ball gets in his hand. Yeah. Some athlete.
He's got it all. We'll delve into that match. The Dragons getting the job done over the Titans a little bit later. But Billy, your Sunday salute?
Yeah, I missed the memo. I don't have a production around my Sunday salute, but no music for this one. But it's just as important, young Jai Gray. He is leading the Dally M at the moment. And to be fair, at the start of the year, he's probably not in the full strength back line of the South Sydney Rabbitohs, but leading the Dally M coming into round 6 on 19 points ahead of Cameron Munster. Some handy players there behind him. A wonderful little player and just tries his heart out every time he gets the ball. He's got the most run meters in the competition. He picked up a try yesterday over there in Perth and he's doing plenty to hold his position, young Jai Gray. So grew up on the Gold Coast, played for the Runaway Bay Seagulls in his juniors and he's doing very well.
That first try where he passed and wrapped around, that was very Alan Langer-like. Remember Alf used to do that? He'd give it to his forward and then wrap around, get it off him. That was very Alfie.
It was awesome.
Hopefully he stays in the 17 somewhere for the Bunnies.
Yeah, I think he might.
He has to.
Yeah, I think he might. I think Latrell Mitchell's the fullback at full strength, but yeah, he certainly adds value. He could come on and play a number of positions. I wouldn't be surprised if he played in the middle of the field. You know, he's a courageous little player.
I think what he did early was very smart. He just earned their respect. I mean, he does it through runs at all types of circumstances, both ends of the field. He's just putting his hand up all the time and when you do that, your teammates want to play with you and they back you up and they try to do special things with you. So his footy's coming along leaps and bounds.
What sort of soundtrack would you put to that?
Give me a sec.
Okay, sorry, mate.
I'll come up with
You've got
something.
a graphic though, Bill. Yours wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
You've got to lift your game, Joey. Graphic or music for you next week. Anyway, it is time now for our Sunday roast and the hot topics in rugby league. And we will start with what has been the biggest story over the last 48 hours. It was that on-field altercation between Jonathan Thurston and Spencer Leniu. Now, just to keep everyone up to date for those who missed it last night, JT has now released a statement which says, "I was shocked by what unfolded. I do not endorse Spencer's remarks from Las Vegas. The comments I made were an opinion on the penalty that he was given. The comments from Spencer were overly aggressive in tone and they were unwarranted. I remain available to discuss this matter privately." Now, this was the altercation then between JT and Roosters coach Trent Robinson in the tunnel after the match. So the matter is now in the hands of JT, Spencer Leniu and the Roosters. So until they want to say any more on the matter, that is where we are going to leave it for this morning and get back to talking about the footy and that great win from the Raiders last night. Jamal Fogarty, what a performance from him, 100 games in the NRL. But of course, we know that he has had his fair share of headlines as well, with news that Manly are chasing him as a possible replacement for Daly Cherry Evans. This is what both of the coaches had to say last night.
Obviously, there's a lot of a lot of innuendo and stories in the media, but I haven't spoken to Jamal. No one from our club has as yet.
whether there's been contract negotiations with Manly or not, where you're not allowed to actually do it. But we'll sit down with Jamal early this week and we'll tell him exactly what we've got. So, mate, I'll know if there's been prior communication with Manly. I can tell a few lies to players to try and sign them and give them 2-3 year deals, but I can't look them in the face when I'm actually then not executing what I said. But I know other coaches and other clubs do, but I'm not to my player. And if that means I lose them, I'd rather lose a player than tell him a lie.
Ricky Stuart, passionate as always. So Ricky not happy with suggestions that Manly were apparently talking to Jamal Fogarty before they technically allowed to, which was when the Raiders didn't take up that option. But without getting bogged down too much in technicalities, essentially now as it stands for Jamal Fogarty, so the Raiders want to keep him. They can only keep him, or they're only going to offer a 1-year deal at the start in the vicinity of $450,000 to $500,000. This is according to Michael Chalmers, who's been all over the story for the past couple of weeks. Manly expected to offer a 2-year deal, $1.2 million. So a lot to weigh up for Jamal Fogarty.
1.2 over 2 years.
Over 2 years.
Well, that's a steal, an absolute steal for Jamal Fogarty. The current market, he's up around $1 million player, 100%. So if they get him for $600,000 a year, Manly, that's a steal.
But if you're Jamal, knowing that you're comfortable there in Canberra, do you back yourself to say, I'm going to have another year and I'm going to show I've still got what it takes at 31 years old?
I think there's a premiership window open for Canberra. I think him and Ricky have a great relationship. But at the end of the day, it's up to him, and he's got a young family, hasn't he, Bill?
Yeah, 2 kids and 1 on the way.
You can see what Canberra are doing. They've got some real talent coming through in key positions, and at the moment they've got some older players in these key positions that are certainly helping these younger players come through. The risk around taking the 1-year deal is when you're at that age, if you don't have the security and something happens, well, then you miss your opportunity of having a lengthy deal and that security of financial, with your family. So, yeah, I'd be surprised if he took that. I think if that is on the table at Manly, wouldn't surprise me if Jamal goes there.
I'd love to see him stay there. And if I was the game, I'd get involved in seeing if he wanted to continue to be part of the game after he finished playing. I spent some time with Jamal in Papua New Guinea last year, and I don't think I've seen many more impressive people in our game at the moment than what he does on the field, what he could do off the field for the game. So if I was the game, I'd be getting involved and asking Jamal if he wanted to contribute at some stage to the game in the future. And I think down in that area around Riverina, Canberra, is a huge playground for kids playing sport. And I think if he was representing our sport down there, we'd be better for it.
You see a lot of the highlights of Jamal, his kicking game, Joel.
Yeah.
It's first class.
Yeah, he's one of the best organising halfbacks. He's a real steady hand. His kicking game's up there with the best, the way he organises his team, and he's calm. Seems to be always calm, so he would be an incredible pickup. 600,000? Can't believe that.
Yeah.
Can't believe it, the current market. Wow.
What about, you could just see last night, Ricky Stuart, post-match, was asked about Jamal, and he almost had to stop the interview because he was in tears, and he got so emotional talking about Jamal and what he means to that club. How much of a role does that play, knowing the bond that he clearly has with the coach? And obviously Ricky wants the best for Jamal.
I think it'll be a factor.
But it's special.
I understand they've got a great relationship, and Ricky's one. He loves his players, and he's quite open about that. I don't know, it's a tricky one. It's a real tricky one. But I think he'd be a great pickup. But as I said, there's a premiership window down there at Canberra. It's a big decision for Jamal.
Well, from one halfback to another in Adam Reynolds, he's also been in the headlines. He wants to keep playing on. He said that he wants to stay in Brisbane. He then wants to be able to coach at the Broncos as well. I guess Broncos officials for the last month or so have been dancing around it, but we got Gus on the case to grill Lockie the other night.
Do you have the salary cap space to accommodate Adam Reynolds if he was to go around again?
Well, it depends on what Adam Reynolds wants to play for.
So that's a no. So it's really something you haven't budgeted for, isn't it?
No.
Yeah. I could watch this all night.
But he's a type of player that you would have to change course, change plans for.
So you'd have to make sacrifices to fit him in.
Correct.
So if you were the Broncos, Freddy, are you doing everything possible to give him a one-year deal and then find a way to have the coaching deal afterwards? Or
well, they've got time on their side at the moment. So I think with Ezra coming back, Ben Hunt also, see how his year unfolds. So at some stage you need to make decisions. You know, you can't have everyone stay and keep everyone happy. Like that's what salary caps do. He's doing a wonderful job at the moment. You can see, well, he looked injured last week, but he came back and played pretty good the other night. And the value he is you talk about composure of Jamal Fogarty, then, you know, this bloke is that again, great goal kicker. So I think he'd be a wonderful coach and someone to keep at your club. But you still got to also look at the progression of your club as well.
I think that's where it sits. I don't know the ins and outs on how it would work, but, you know, this is a long-term relationship, Adam Reynolds and the Broncos. I think it goes into a coaching situation after his playing days are over, whether that's this year or next year.
There's also salary caps on coaching too. So it's not as though
That's what I was going to ask you.
Yeah. So there's also a cap for your staff.
Wow.
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Well, because otherwise that's where the difference would come.
But he's as important to anyone as anyone in that Broncos team. You think about last week, it was 12-all going into half-time. He kicks a 2-point field goal to give him that little buffer at half-time and then comes out and puts that little chip over the top and scores under the post, 8 points difference. So he's an important cog in that Broncos outfit.
It's amazing how we're valuing experience these days to talent.
Or potential.
You know, we're offering experience 400,000, maybe 600, and we're giving talent 1.3 million. Like it's a huge difference.
What would you pay Adam Reynolds, Joey?
Well, on the open market, he'd be upwards of $1 million player. But in this situation at Brisbane, I think a fair number would be up around 600 or 700.
But the Fogarty thing tells you that at the moment, like being 36, I think Fogarty's a bit younger than Adam Reynolds, 35.
31. Fogarty's 31.
31. Yeah. Adam Reynolds is about to have his 35th birthday, I think. So, like that's, obviously numbers are coming into play there with age.
He's as fit as he's ever been.
Yeah,
he's taken the line. He's playing as well as he has ever played.
Well, he's in the top handful of players of influencing the outcome. You think about who influences the outcome. You've got a bloke in the one jersey at Newcastle this afternoon. He influences the outcome. Nathan Cleary, Cameron Munster. Adam Reynolds, he influences the outcome at the Broncos.
So the other one is Daly Cherry Evans. Like out of all of the older statesmen in the game, he's mostly the one that's kept his speed. Like a lot of as you get older, you lose your speed a little bit and you sort of get smarter, but he seems to have kept his speed. It's be very interesting what he gets when he goes to another club, how much money he demands.
For the Broncos, how much goes into it, the fact that there's a premiership window right now? So you can understand if they're in a rebuild phase, maybe moving Adam Reynolds on, but the fact that they have a premiership window right now, and we know that clubs need depth. I mean, what if Ben Hunt or Ezra Mam, Corey Pakes, anyone gets injured for the season, to have quality depth, it seems like it's a good idea, if they can manage it, to keep him around and strike while the iron is hot.
But we don't know what's coming through there. We don't see any of the Queensland Cup sort of competition. Kobe Black, I haven't seen Kobe at all play.
What else is the option outside Adam Reynolds? Is it Ben Hunt to halfback and Ezra Mam?
Yeah. Then who's your backup? So Billy Walters plays in the half.
Yeah.
Well, there's chat that Billy's going overseas as well. Cowboys, yeah.
Right.
Chasing. I hope it gets done. I know I've spoke to Adam Reynolds and he wants to stay in Brisbane. First thing he said, we've got a backyard. The kids can play in the backyard. It's a bit different in the eastern suburbs of Sydney. No one's got a backyard.
Is this a concerning trend for the game that some of these more experienced players are just getting pushed out of the game through salary cap? Is this something the game needs to look at for concessions for some older players? Well,
I think there already is concessions about players who have played a certain amount of years, especially at one club. You get even more concessions, I think. But then, like I said about Jamal Fogarty, I think he'd be an incredible representative for the game, like Adam Reynolds would be. And maybe this is where the game could help. If they feel like that person is suited for that area, then, help out, find a way, make it happen, strengthen the game.
Well, the halfback chat, no doubt, will continue to dominate headlines for weeks and months to come as we wait to see what happens to Daly Cherry Evans, Jamal Fogarty and Adam Reynolds as well. Stay with us, plenty more coming up on the show, and we are very much looking forward to Women's State of Origin. Last year, it was the record-breaking 3-game series that changed State of Origin forever. This is the story of the 2024 Women's State of Origin series and the lives behind the stars who made it a reality. Breakthrough, the rise of Women's Rugby League. Premieres Wednesday, April 30 on 9 and 9 Now.
The growth of Women's Rugby League has been phenomenal.
We've wanted this so badly, but we have to go out and perform. They couldn't see what we could see.
Here she goes!
It gives me this rush of adrenaline. It's a feeling that I live for.
Next time I'm down there, I'm kicking it.
What a kick!
It seriously lived up to the hype.
Over 1 million people watched that game.
Wrestling hose the last 3 hours. Now I've got to wrestle these girls.
I love the chaos of my life.
I just felt like I had nothing else in a way.
I have so much fun.
Women's Rugby League, it is pure footy.
They're entertaining.
This means a lot to so many people. Give me no excuse but to pick you.
Our mindset's not making tackles, it's winning.
It feels like a dream.
This is rugby league. This is what it can do.
It's something that's just in your skin. No one can ever take it away from us.
Great win for the Cowboys over there in Perth, 24-16 over the Rabbitohs. That is now 3 wins on the trot for Todd Payten's men. Unfortunately, though, one of the big talking points coming out of this one has been about one of the refereeing decisions. Jack Whiten put on report for a hip drop tackle. Wayne Bennett was asked about it post-match, and he basically said anyone who has ever seen rugby league knows that that is not a hip drop tackle. And what was he supposed to do? This is it here. He said, what was he supposed to do? Just touch him and let him go on and score. Where do we sit with this?
I couldn't believe it. And you watch the face of the players. They're dumbfounded. It's just, unfortunately, there's going to be accidents because the game is played at high speed and there's massive collisions. That's just desperation. It's not a hip drop.
Brilliant tackle.
Great tackle.
It's a brilliant tackle.
Great tackle.
Not only made the tackle, he got dislodged the ball.
Look at their reaction. They just can't believe it.
But the problem is there's a still shot there that makes it look like a hip drop. There's a still shot.
Yeah, but you look at still shot of a lot of tackles, it'll tell us.
100%.
Just let it show it in real time. Don't go to super slow motion or stills. Just show it in real time and understand the desperation at the time.
That's what I'm saying. There's going to be a picture that makes it look like a hip drop, so they feel like at the time they need to give a penalty.
It's not a hip drop.
Excuse me for looking at my phone, but the charges have just come out and he has not copped anything.
No,
so he's got off.
There you go.
I don't think that was ever in danger.
Well, they scored just after that, I'm pretty sure.
I have a theory.
That was why it was a turning point.
That was the problem.
I've had a theory there should be an ex-coach in the bunker. And I've said it, someone like Brian Smith, I think he'd be really suited to that. Great educator. He understands defensive movements and obstructions, and he understands tackling techniques. I think we really need to have an ex-coach, someone like Brian Smith in there.
Huge turnaround for the Cowboys. They were 0-3, and now they're 3-3 in the last 3 weeks. So
They got some good young players.
yeah, that Purdue on
Isn't
the
he?
left-hand side. Speed, scored a couple of late tries to give him a bit of breathing space. It was a real close game. Obviously, Latrell Mitchell played in the 6 jersey again. A huge boot on him. Great kicking game.
And the soft hands.
His first 10 minutes was awesome. He was really involved. I think the game itself got, you got to start doing what a 5'8" does, and then I thought his last 10 minutes was excellent as well, but I thought the Cowboys were better.
Yeah,
Reece Robson
was great. That little kick out of dummy half.
Everyone underestimates his speed.
Yeah.
Boom. He goes flying through. He's lightning.
They're playing out of position at the moment as well. You say he's a half. But
they're 5'8".
Yeah.
For the Bunnies, I mean, Wayne Bennett said it after the match, but just too many errors.
That
just cruelled them. And that clearly hurt them, right? Like no Cody, no Jamie Humphreys.
Yeah.
Ravalawa was out as well.
Yeah, in those big moments, they needed someone organising. Although Latrell's kicking game, he's got thunder in that boot. He kicks them so hard. But, yeah, they just missed a game manager there at key times.
Do you see Latrell at all? I know you said just before, Billy, that he will go back to fullback, but in the coming years, do you see Latrell at all making the transition to 6 at any stage?
Latrell could make a transition to put any number on his back and be a great player. He's got that ability like Greg Inglis had. But at Latrell's best, I think his best position is fullback. You know, when he's at his best. He's far from his best right now. He's just coming back from a hamstring injury. This is his second game? The third game. So he's going to get better whatever position he plays, but it's through the necessity of the team, what the team needs from him at the moment, and he's doing a great job no matter what number he puts on his back.
For the Cowboys, I mean, you mentioned the fact that it was a really slow start and they had lots of new combinations and defensively were struggling on the edges, but how good is it to see someone like Jason Taumalolo just back to his barnstorming best?
Charging. Makes such a difference when he's on. His late footwork, the way he surges into the line, takes 2 and 3 players. He's developed an offload in his game. Last year, it was taught that he may have been on the scrap heap. He's had that sort of chronic knee injury, but he's back to his best. He's a machine. Look at this. Just rolls forward.
Yeah,
was he a nightmare to tackle, Bill?
I tried not to let it get to me. Tried to get everyone else to do their job before he got to me. But I just think the Cowboys have done a good job over the last month of bringing their young guys on and helping develop their young guys. We spoke about young Purdue. I think Robert Derby on the wing as well has been doing a fantastic job. Now, they're replacements from Valentine Holmes and Kyle Felt. So there's a lot of experience going out of the team and 2 young guys coming into those positions. So I think the coaching staff have done a really good job with bringing those 2 along and helping develop them.
The other thing they've done well too, they beat Canberra, who have been really spirited this year. They beat Penrith, and then they beat South, have also been winning games as well. So they're playing teams that are actually, playing with plenty of spirit, and a couple of really big wins. Like 3 weeks ago, we had them sitting last, so they've done a great job to turn it around.
For the Rabbitohs, they have a chance now to turn things around for them on Good Friday. Can't wait for this one, up against the Bulldogs, the high-flying Bulldogs on top of the ladder at the moment. Campbell Graham should also be back for the Bunnies as well, so you can catch this one live and free on 9 from 3 p.m.
You think about the Bulldogs, they've had a week off when not only 8 teams have travelled, 11 teams, and they've travelled like 7,000 k's, a lot of these teams. So in a week where there's been a lot of travel, they've sat at home, been on the lattes.
They're playing half decent too.
They're going good.
Oh, that'll be a good
They'll
game.
be hard to beat.
Cannot wait for that one. Of course, the other match over in Perth was the Sharkies and the Seagulls. 24-18, the Sharks got the job done, so they are now back in the winner's circle. And we gave Will Kennedy a wrap earlier, but whether it was Kennedy or Braden Trindle setting up a couple, they were good to watch.
Trindle, that kick.
This little
pass,
combo.
that's the second try with Stone Street.
Well, he turned the game. There was no tries in the opening 30 minutes, and then Trindle went to work with a beautiful pass and then a beautiful kick, and all of a sudden they're 2 tries ahead. So that gave the Sharks the buffer. Manly just can't find their best football when Tom Trbojevic isn't in the team. It's been a concern for nearly a decade now, and they just can't find their best football without their star number 1.
There's a lot to lose.
Yeah.
For the Sharkies, do you think, I mean, there's been over the last few weeks chat about Trindle and Nico, but do you think, I mean, unfortunately Trindle also then helped set up a couple of Manly tries, but do you think they're starting to build a solid combination, Bill, Nico and Braden Trindle together and complementing each other well?
Absolutely. I think the first thing they got right is they were heavily involved. They got the ball a lot. Nico Hines had 14 carries, ran for over 100 metres, so, he had his attacking game on, and Trindle was the spark. He was the spark with the footy in hand. He set up that nice try with a pass and beautiful kick on him, and but at the end of the day, they got the footy in their hands, and the more those 2 get the footy in their hands, the better the Sharks look.
Well, the hooker did more as well, Braden Rayleigh. He ran more. A couple of tries came off him, so I think when your hooker actually takes more attention, that then releases your halves and gives them less players that are looking at them. So I thought he did there. We've sort of spoke about this
Brady.
for a long time.
Well, last year when
Run more,
Nico
and
was
he's
out
fast.
and they had Atkinson at halfback, and I think even Trindle was out, they went down to Melbourne, beat Storm. Brayley was running constantly and just troubled him around the middle. He's just got to run more. When he runs, he looks a different player, and the team looks different.
I think that's why they kept him over his brother, because his brother's like tough and a great defender, and But Braden was the one that had the speed. Blake, mate, what am I calling you? I don't even know your name. We're going to go back to.
You're thinking Braden Trindle. Yes. Freddie's been earthing.
That's why they kept you. They kept you because he had the speed. Yeah.
You want your music. You just need music on all of your vision now.
Collabs. I need to collab with you.
You're not even on social media. Don't talk about something you know nothing about.
There's a real chance for the Sharks over the next month. They've got the Knights, the Tigers and the Eels over the next 3 weeks. So the Sharks can, there's a chance to go on a run if they've done a lot of travel over the first 6 weeks. They've been to Vegas, Townsville and over to Perth now. So if they can get back and get on a bit of a run over the next 3 weeks, they can settle their season. So
2 great games over there in Perth. There was a bit of a funding spat with the WA government and the NRL, but it looks like we could be back on track and we could be getting the team over there. Do you think that's what we need, Joey?
No, I think the next team should be the south of New Zealand, in Christchurch. Yeah, there's a bit of silly buggers going on. There was no AFL game yesterday in
because they had Gather Round in Adelaide.
So the crowd was 31,000. I know on television it didn't look the crash hot. Is that a 60,000 capacity?
Yeah.
The Bird's Nest over there. I think there's a bit of political football going on here at the moment where, Peter V'landys is holding out to get more money off the government. Who knows? But for mine, I think the next club should be the South Island, out of Christchurch.
Well, I think there's going to be a few, and I think on the surface this looks attractive. It's got the different time zone, there's a different market, and every time I've been over there, there's been a real passion for rugby league. Like to get 30,000 fans, that'll be the second highest attendance over the weekend. The Broncos put 40,000 in Suncorp, but that's the second highest attendance. So, there's a real market over there, and I think, they'll work it out. But I'd be surprised if there wasn't a Perth team in the next few years if we're putting 3 or 4 teams in.
Well, we were all across the country yesterday. We also headed up to Darwin. That is where the Raiders got a massive win over the Eels. What does that mean now for the Eels? We're going to relive all of the highlights, including that incredible flick pass from Joe Tarpany after the break. See you in a sec.
Strange, propelled off defenders, swerves away, support there on the outside, McGovern moving beautifully, shows the speed of a Savage or Weeks. Timothy the score for Canberra. The Raiders, too much speed.
Oh yes, when they are on, the Raiders backline are just so good to watch. 50-12 it was in the end, handling those incredibly humid conditions up there in Darwin so well, and really just showed that the Raiders can find different ways to win. They won a really tight one against the Sharks a couple of weeks ago, showed they can put their foot down, and really they've just got different gears. Ricky Stewart's men, don't they?
Well, they've got an even contribution through their team. All 17 contribute to their victory, and they put 50 points on this game. They've got 2 big front rowers that lay the platform. I thought, the big red fella, Corey Horsburgh, he was great. And then it's an even contribution. They don't rely on any one star.
Good for them.
I thought Ethan Strange had it's like someone took the lid off the jar and he popped out. He was like everywhere. Boom!
Yeah.
That's the best he's played by far. And I think he's just adapting. Jamal takes such a responsibility.
But also they play a style of footy which brings Ethan into play. They offload the ball. They've got players who can offload. Teams defend so well. They've been defending they defend the same shapes all the time. This bloke is in the sweet spot of his career, Hudson Young.
Playing well, isn't he?
He's flying.
He didn't even think
But
of
I love watching him. I love watching them play. They offload the ball, play to their strengths.
But you think about how they won the game last week on that last-minute try, throwing the ball from the left all the way to the right, kick it, get it back, flick it around the corner. That's all of these tries. That's their style. You know, it wasn't anything different. For everyone else, it's out of the ordinary, but it's not for Canberra. They do it their way.
It's exciting to watch, isn't it? It's very like West Tigers 2005, isn't
their
it?
own
Just
style of play. And everyone plays the same ways. And everyone defends the same plays at training. So when you think about it, anyone who plays a different style of play, it's very hard to defend.
What about this
Because
pass?
they're so ad-lib.
Go
This
Tarpany.
bloke's freaky.
Beauty.
Offload the ball. Get 2 and 3 in the tackle, offload the ball.
He's a good player, Matty Nicholson. Only debuted for the Raiders this year, coming from the English Super League. But yeah, look at it. It's all very similar.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Here they are. They're all powerful runners. If you don't commit to the tackle, they're running through you.
Yeah.
You just saw Hudson Young when he took on the fullback straight through. You saw Timoko, he ran through 3 of them. They was putting their hands out at one stage, Parramatta. I think 3 of them touched him. So, you know, they're powerful.
Do you reckon they can win a comp the next 1 or 2 years? I think they can for sure. If you get them in a big game and it sticks for them, they get points back to back to back.
Front rows are important. They've got some great front rows. You talk about Horsburgh.
Yep.
He's in a really nice spot at the moment.
Well, he's fit.
And then Papali, you got someone who's very experienced, and Tarpano, who's a gun.
Yeah.
Good front row,
They
good
got
middle.
the balance. They got the balance all over the park. Dangerous team.
What about for the Eels then? I mean, incredible performance from the Raiders, but for the Eels, I mean, 45 missed tackles, 16 errors. It's been a tough start, and we know that for Eels fans, they do have to be patient, and it is a rebuild for Jason Riles and his men. But where to now? I know Mitchell Moses is coming back in a couple of weeks, but does Mitchell Moses really make the difference of 40 or 50 points?
He doesn't, not 40 or 50, but a fair bit with his kicking game. He'll rescue the poor sets. It's just young players not used to the speed of the game, not used to the pressure mentally, and make silly errors. Making silly errors under fatigue. It's just, it takes a while for young players to get used to week in and week out. We see it with Penrith, some of their young players. At the moment, they just can't do it week in, week out over 80 minutes.
Tell you where they won't be going is back to Darwin.
Yeah.
They've been belted a couple of times there.
Yeah.
I think Cowboys beat them by 50 once up there as well.
That's their home
Did
game.
the Broncos? Yeah, I think that's the end
They're
of...
sponsored off NT.
That was the end of it. That was the last
year.
year, so not sure they'll be going back there again.
It's tough for the Eels, isn't it? I mean, so many young players, a new coach. It's
the West.
Poor Eels fans.
The West.
Anyway.
Something in the water at the moment out west.
I don't know. I'll find a song for it.
We need to get a song for that. Anyway, we're going to be a bit more positive coming up. We're going to talk the Dragons' incredible win coming up very shortly. They were the entertainers. Val Holmes on fire. The Show Me the Money celebration was back in. Speaking of show...
Ilias ball. Egan's over. It's one for Gerringong. Dylan Egan has scored. A Gerringong Lion scoring for St George Illawarra.
Yes, well done to Dylan Egan. His first try in the NRL in the Dragons' victory from Gerringong, a town of only about 4,000. And haven't they produced some great rugby league talent? The Wisharts, Ruben Garrick, Mick Cronin.
The Sims.
Yes,
Sims family.
correct.
I think at the moment, in and around the NRL, they have 8 or 10 players in NRL or New South Wales Cup. Just goes to show volunteers down there, junior footy. This young bloke, he's a tearaway.
They all seem to love their footy. That's the one thing they have in common. You look at Tyron Wishart, he just looks like he loves his footy every single game.
Well, Dylan Egan, he's keeping Luciano Leilua on the bench at the moment to start the game, and then he comes on, adds a point of difference. They just
Working
look like
a treat, actually, though, isn't it?
It is. They look like they're enjoying their football, the Dragons.
What did you like about, I mean, wherever you looked, it was great to watch. Val Holmes, as we saw before, Christian Tuipulotu. I mean, they were just good to watch. It was entertaining footy, wasn't it? Especially that period just before half-time where they just put the foot down.
I was really happy for Lachlan Ilias.
Yeah.
I thought he played a really strong game. They got a great style of play with a lot of ball movement, the Dragons, and they're such a big team. They are big and powerful out wide. That movement there was just unbelievable for Val Holmes. He's such a talented player.
Their passing was excellent. It was like a training session passing where you got your
Try off a kick-off, Freddy.
Another one.
Another
Two
one.
in 1 year.
Yep. I
Last time we saw it
like
was
that.
1960.
I thought you'd like that one. One shining light for the Titans was David Fafita, and there was no other shining lights at all.
Well, the other shining light, when you talk about Dave Freddy, was Lachlan Ilias had to tackle him.
Yeah.
I don't know, I saw him 5 or 6 times, like just, just trying to take him, had his head in there, did a great job.
Well, it just goes to show, when teams are going bad, the coach gets judged. We know Des Hasler, what a great coach he is. He's had success everywhere he's gone.
Lockie, look at this.
Players have got to take responsibility.
That's a pass.
There's just no consistency. There's no consistency week to week. There's no consistency half to half, sometimes set to set. You've got to find that consistency. Because when they're on, they are such a dangerous team, but there's no consistency.
Do they look to bring Kieran Foran back in? And to settle things?
Fosatory's bicep.
Yeah, so how long's he out for?
I thought it was mid-year.
Yeah,
right.
I think so.
Okay, so he's got a bit to go.
A while still to go.
But then once again, they're trying players in all different positions. They're pretty much playing with 3 fullbacks, which is the new buzzword in rugby league after what Melbourne do. But, down there you got Munster and you got a bloke Jerome Hughes and you got Pappenhausen, but you got a bloke called Craig Bellamy coaching them.
Yeah.
So
what would you do then? Would
they got
AJ Brimson be your fullback?
I really don't know. They just got to stick to this plan and stick to it and have these combinations. Jaden Campbell at halfback, he's probably not a natural halfback, but he's doing a really good job in attack. The kicking game needs to improve. Once again, the word consistency. The consistency of the kicking game is just not there. But whatever Des is thinking, they just have to keep 7 and 6 and 1 the same.
Well, it's much like with the Knights last year, how they just kept chopping and changing with their halves, right? If you don't have the consistency, they might struggle.
It's impossible.
I'm glad we haven't got a lisp.
Kicking consistency. Can you say that 5 times?
No, I can't. I'm thinking I'm going to have to say this word soon, and I was getting nervous.
Speaking of consistency, though, I mean, Lockie Ilias, you had to do it. Please
stop earthing. What are you doing?
You need to do some voice warm-ups before you come on and get the tongue things going.
Lockie Ilias.
Lockie Ilias was down on confidence, bounced back, but that was always going to take time to work as... I mean, it's a whole new spine, really, by the time you think of Gutho's new, Lockie Ilias and Kyle Flanagan, and then Cookie's new to the club as well. So as time goes on, where do you see the Dragons season and how many more levels do they have in them as they get more reps together?
I think it's the unknown. I think if they have a really good run with the injury, I think they can be in and around the 8. Lockie Ilias, I was happy. I think there's a footballer in Lockie Ilias. I think he's very similar to like a Jamal Fogarty. He's that steady hand, strong defender, good kicking game. So once again, he's just got to have that consistency.
The other thing about Lockie is he's coming off a broken leg. He basically didn't play first grade last year.
Yeah.
So that's going to take a little bit of time to get his feel and connection back to the game and his game. So, it was good to see him play well.
Good to see him back. The Show Me the Money was back as well. Flano said he doesn't mind if it's back, if they are winning, that's for sure. So maybe we'll see it next week as well when they take on Manly. This is our Thursday night game, live and free on 9 and 9 now. Coverage is from 7:30. Hopefully the Dragons entertain just as they did. Here it is. We have to show it again. Show Me the Money. It got banned from Shane Flanagan.
Show Me the Money's next one.
That's the first one. But he then does do Show Me the Money on this. He did it on the sideline as well after Dylan Egan scored his first try. Are you happy if they're ahead and they're pumping the other team?
No,
is it okay then?
I couldn't care less.
I just felt getting old early on. I didn't like it, but you know what? I saw the crowd reacting to it. I thought, you know what? Maybe I'm just getting old.
I think he just signed a contract extension too, didn't he?
Yeah.
He did, so he does actually have the money now. Anyway, plenty more to talk about after the break. We might get Freddy to say some big more words like consistency. And it was a big win for the Roosters against the Broncos on their home turf at Suncorp Stadium. Oh yes, the comeback kid, Billy Smith, with 2 tries up there at Suncorp Stadium. It is one of the great feel-good stories in rugby league. He's had such a tough run with injuries. Since debuting in 2019, he's only played 30-odd games. He's done a couple of ACLs. He's just come back from ankle and hip issues as well. Joey, it's just so good to see him doing well. And you know he and the Quite family fairly well.
The nicest family. And Billy is the most humble, down-to-earth fella. How much he's been through, how much trauma he's probably been through with these injuries. But full credit to him, but full credit to the Roosters also by sticking by him. He's changed pretty much everything in his life. No alcohol. He's gone on pretty much radical sort of diets, all the fasting sort of stuff. But at the end of the day, he's had no luck. So fingers crossed, let's hope he just continues, because he is a talent and a half. Absolute talent.
No one give him a chance in this game. Going up to Brisbane, up against the Broncos, who everyone's got a high opinion of.
It was like when they played Penrith.
Yeah.
I thought they'd get smashed.
What did you like most about the victory for the Roosters?
Well, I like the fact that all these kids, this whole team just about, has all come through the club as 18-year-olds. A lot's been said about the Roosters, how they go about getting their players, but just about every one of these kids has come through, been part of the club for a long time. And, you know, they lost a lot of players last year. And they've got young blokes like Freddy and Billy Smith, who they've had some faith with, and
Hugo Savala.
And you know what?
Yeah. Good kicking game.
Yeah.
So I've got to say, like, for all the scrutiny the Roosters get put under, just about every single 13 of these kids all came through systems prior to being 18 years old. So,
and they had to hang in there too. You know, they were behind on the scoreboard at certain stages of the match, and they had to hang in there and up against a big crowd up there at Suncorp. I thought it was a big win by the Roosters.
Very emotional, wasn't it? You could tell.
Yeah.
It was emotional early.
A lot of questions about when they lost Jared and these sort of senior players. They've invested in these young players. White, the young front rower, Siwawong, Freddy, these young players.
Blake Steep.
They're going to get better and better and better. White is a gun.
They're a tipper's nightmare. Like, seriously. The 2 games where no one gives them a chance, they win them and then struggle in the others.
This one in Penrith. Tough. But Hugo Savala had the second game in the NRL. This is his first start at halfback. We were there, his debut. I think you got him 70 or so tickets for he and his family. But,
not his family, for all the rats from down the beach. Anyway.
But what do you see his future like
he's
in
an
the
NRL player. He's an out-and-out NRL player. Once again, we don't know what's happened with Daly Cherry Evans. But looking at his game, I have no doubt that Trent Robinson said, defend strong, organise, support, and kick well. And then do it again next set. Just do it over and over and over. And I thought as the game went on, his game built. He started to run the ball. So there's good signs. He'll just keep building his game. But he did his job. His job was there to organise, kick and defend strong. He did that.
And after all of the players that they lost over the off-season, it was the topic, of course, and all of these young players being blooded. But there's one thing you can count on every single week is that James Tedesco is one of, if not the Roosters' best player. Like, I mean, if he's not right up there as their best, Billy, he's in the top 3, right? Like he's
literally
just,
their best every week and every season.
You know what you're going to get from James Tedesco, and he has given his heart and soul, and there's not much more he can do out there.
And that's what you get from your captain, and he's their standards. He upholds all their standards. Look, he went through an era of the Roosters where they were so successful through 2018, 2019 premiers, and now he's leading the way in a different generation of Rooster at the minute. So they're obviously going through rebuilds, and they need to enjoy these wins because they're not coming around as often as they were when they were in that glory period. But he is so consistent, James, and you don't have to look too far for an example if you want to follow someone at the Roosters.
The bloke who passed the ball in that last clip, Connor Watson, he's sort of living up to expectations now. He's doing a really good job. Set up a try with Angus Crichton later, but just busy, showing his speed around the middle. Dangerous.
I saw a point of difference with the Broncos too. I saw Payne Haas get out a little bit wider. Had a nice little pass to his game, set up Reece Walsh to give a try assist to one of his wingers. So they're just using Payne Haas a little bit different now, getting him out a little bit wider.
For the Broncos, I think Cam Smith said after the game that he questioned their attitude and commitment and resilience. For a side that's tipped to be one of the Premiership heavyweights, do you agree that
Well, it wasn't just Cam Smith, it was actually their coach as well. Michael Maguire, in the post-match press conference, actually said the same thing. The opposition just had more hunger and more physicality than his team. So I'm sure that's what they would look at this week, and where did it go wrong and what do we need to fix.
I think Brisbane also, you've got to understand, a bit like Penrith, where everyone plays their best. And not only that, you're going up to Brisbane, you're playing on Suncorp, it's an awesome stadium, it's a huge crowd. So, you know, a lot of teams sort of go along and you don't have this sort of atmosphere, and all of a sudden you get up there, you know what to expect. So, you know, Brisbane have to be the best because the team they're playing are at their best.
Roosters got Penrith this week, is that right? Geez, that'll be a game and a half. Saturday night, 7:30, I think it is. Geez, that'll be a great game.
So they've played the Broncos and Penrith twice in the first 7 rounds.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, interesting draw.
Let's pick that up. Bit of music to that.
We'll get a song for that. We might get a song for the highlights of the next one as well. The Dolphins with back-to-back victories. This means that the 4-time defending premiers, the Penrith Panthers, have now lost, 5 games in a row. Where to now for Ivan Cleary and his men? We'll dissect it all after the break. A hat-trick for the Hammer and a victory for the Dolphins. Back-to-back wins now and a big one over the defending premiers, the Penrith Panthers. I think over the last month, really, each and every week, Joey, you've said to Billy, how do we get the Hammer involved more? How do we get him involved more? And we
got him involved.
Good to watch.
Well, the first try, they went to the left. They got Herbie Farnworth in space. And then the Hammer got involved. And that comes down to the coaching. They were attacking coming out of trouble. Look, around the halfway line. That's the key where you got to attack. They got Herbie ball, and then they got this freak the ball.
Well, that was only 3 minutes into the game, so that must have been a conscious decision to move the football in that area of the field. And he scored with 3 minutes into the game and then scored right at the death. He was heavily involved, the Hammer. But they all played well. They're starting to get it right now. Izzy Katoa was again good. This guy was good off the bench.
Beatson like that.
That was Arthur Beatson like. They've got a footy team there, the Dolphins.
Look out. Look out.
So fast.
It's just not fair. It's not fair he runs that quick, how easy it is.
He's good.
I think they're a top 8 team. I tipped them to make the top 8. I think they found their mojo and their style of play. If they can have a luck with injuries, I think they can challenge for the top 8.
The big question mark, of course, is over the Panthers now. I mean, after the first couple of losses, a few people were saying, can they win another premiership? Now people are saying, can they even make the 8? But in terms of premiership, Billy, your 2012 side had lost 5 in a row.
Yeah.
Is that correct? And then still went on to win the comp. But I think Lockie's 06 side did the same.
Yeah, and Freddy was talking about last week that they were 1-4 in 2002 when they won the... So, like, it's certainly there to still... It's not over just yet for the Panthers. I've been pretty upbeat about the Panthers over the last, 3 or 4 weeks, but this game certainly, there was some concerns. And there's concerns around how many inexperienced players are clumped together. That left-hand side of the field, they had 45 games between 3 players. It was Blaze Talangi, Jenkins and also McLean defending next to each other. That's where a lot of the decisions came where there were points for the Dolphins. So, yeah, look, there's a fair bit of work to be done at the Panthers. It's not just any one quick fix for them. They're not going to stop trying, and it's not certainly put a line through them yet, but there's certainly some concerns.
Joey, you said last week that Nathan needs to dumb things down a bit because his teammates are not on the same page.
Well, they don't see the game like
Did you see further evidence of that the other night, that Nathan is just a level above and his teammates just don't have the experience to be at that level?
Yeah, I saw that. And look, Blaze Talangi made some errors, but he's a player of the future. Once again, be patient. This is the next challenge for Nathan. playing with younger players, but also playing on the back foot. They've lost Fisher Harris, who's been a massive. He's a play one front rower. So Fisher Harris would go, then Leota would go on the back of him. Also missing Brian To'o. He gets the sets rolling forward. But Nathan's got to learn now to play on the back foot with no go forward and still get his team. The best ever at it was Wally Lewis, and he did it at Origin level. So once again, this is the next challenge for Nathan.
Were there times in your career you had to do that, come back and dumb things down?
2005, we had a big transition, got some young players, and it took a while for it to sink in. But then once it did sink in, and then the younger players gradually got up to that level, then we started winning again. But it's the next challenge for Nathan. It's exciting for him.
Yeah. In terms of the Dolphins, you mentioned you thought Jack Bostock could be a smoky for Origin. Do you agree with Joey there?
That's if Lomax is out.
Yeah.
I think there's a few in front of Jack at the moment, but he came up with a couple of nice tackles where he had some good reads and jammed in. He's a definite try scorer. He's good under the high ball, obviously. But I think at the moment there's still most likely a few in front of him.
Who do you reckon will be in front?
Well, Brian.
So Brian's one wing, and only the others.
Brian, Zach.
Lomax is out.
Probably out.
They're talking about Daniel Tupou, Taruva. I don't know where he sits.
The Fox.
The Fox. Carraz was talking about Carraz.
Jacob Carraz. Could you put Crichton on the wing?
I think this bloke, he's ready-made for...
Now, watching a couple of those reads was good. You see so many times wingers come fly up past the ball. And we saw Dave Fafita score, set up a try. He just went like that. Two defenders ran past him. He just flicked it behind him. So, that in itself says that he's a smart player and reads defence well, which is very important in those big games. They make or break you.
But if he is to get a possible Origin call-up, he'll probably need errors like this out of his game, this blunder we saw the other night. And it was great. It was great that he could have a laugh about it. Danica interviewed Jack and his father, actually, and his dad was giving it to him, saying, what was that? So it was good to see that they could have a laugh.
His dad played NRL too, played a couple of games for the Tigers.
So does his sister.
Back in the day. Yeah, that was a stinker.
He couldn't have done that if he tried.
There we go.
The bloke who scored, Moses Leota, I tell you what, he doesn't get overwhelmed when he's near a try line. He scores a lot of tries. Ball was rolling around, just picked it up and scored. Pretty impressive for a big front row.
Do you think they'll make the 8, Penrith? I got serious doubt.
I don't think...
tough question.
If they make the 8 this year, it's a bonus.
Mitch Kenny's back.
But I think, mate, Blaze Talangi, Casey McLean...
Oh, yeah.
Even Jenkins, mate, they are players of the future. I think so. If they make it this year, but next year, 12 months with those blokes playing in first grade, learning some lessons, they'll still be around, don't worry. Won't take long.
We're going to have to take a break because we want lots of time to talk to our special guest. Coming up next, it is Adrian Morley for the award-winning segment Turn It Up. But as we do head to the break, Sammy Thaiday, he has been very busy up there in Queensland. This is the latest edition of Their House with Ben Hunt.
Suncorp Stadium.
Ben Hunt's house.
That's not it. Brisbane.
Ben Hunt's house.
Oi, what are you doing here? You doing their house?
Yes, I am. Nice place here, Benny.
Yeah, it's not too bad, mate.
How's it being back in Queensland?
Mate, it's beautiful. Back up in God's country. Weather's great. Back where it all started for me, and hopefully ending my career here, it's going to be pretty special.
End of your career, but probably one of the toughest pre-seasons you've been through. How's Madge as a coach?
Yeah, it's probably not the best pre-season to dive into at a 34-year-old, but, mate, he's been outstanding. I think he's been really good for the group. He's got us working hard as a team and building a really strong culture there, so I'm really enjoying it.
Talking about working hard, I know it's your day off, you've got jobs and stuff you need to do around the house. Mate, don't let me stop. Might even just have a look around, or if I can give you a hand or something.
Have a look around, mate. I've actually got a bit of garden to do if you want to come give me a hand.
Yeah, sweet.
Just throw one of these on, eh?
Really?
Press a hand, mate. Really need some help to move that around.
Anytime, Dozer.
Good stuff.
Mate, work up a bit of a sweat doing that, though. Oh, Dozer, me pits and bits are a bit sweaty, mate. You got somewhere I can
Mate,
kind of cool down?
I've got the perfect thing. Come with me.
Jeez Louise.
Yeah, it's not bad, mate.
Mate, the Bronx have been good to you.
Not bad for the recovery up here.
You must be on the big bucks, eh? I've got some questions for you, all right? Thursday night opening Magic Round. The women are playing the State of Origin, the first game. Yep. Who won the series last year?
I believe it was the Queensland ladies.
Boom. What is the best part about Magic Round?
No, I think the best part is seeing all the different fans in the stadium. I love that. You know, you go out there and you play and there's just every single team represented in the stadium. They're all going mad and just love the atmosphere.
Mate, if you go on a holiday here in Queensland, you want a country holiday or you want a city holiday?
Mate, for me, from the country boy, you know, I'd love a country holiday. The city's beautiful, but yeah, I'm all about the country. Get out, do a bit of camping.
If you could have dinner with any rugby league legend, who would it be?
Jeez, there's just too many. But I'll probably go, you know what, I'll go Darren Lockyer. Just what he done at the Broncos, and obviously I'm playing there now, and yeah, it'd be pretty nice to sit down with him.
Cheers, Dozer.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Dozer, thanks for that, brother.
No worries, mate.
What's that noise?
Mate, I've got something special here.
Suncorp Stadium in your house?
Mate, you'll be able to see more of that at Magic Round.
I'm excited.
Well, off you go. And good luck with Siri.
Thank you.
Inside ball here for Morley. Now the Englishman run. 10 metres out from the line. Morley! Goal! And they will be singing in Salford. He doesn't get too many. And Morley said, get a bit of that into you. What a hit from Adrian Morley. To Morley, straight through, straight over, try. Oh, Philip Sandy. Really shook up by Morley. That was a pearler.
Welcome to Turn It Up, and we have a special guest, the great Adrian Morley. Moz, thanks for coming.
Thank you.
How much judiciary time would you have been if you were playing now?
I wouldn't have played many games. The
ratio wouldn't have been good anyway.
No, it wasn't great back in, but you can't do anything now. But no, I love the physical side of the game. But yeah, you can't do that now.
Me and Freddy always talk about tough players, and we say they're tough, but then there's pommy tough. Some of the players, one in particular, Barry McDermott, who played all over, played in Leeds, played for other clubs. Did you ever have any run-ins with Barry?
Just once. Thankfully, I played most of me club rugby in England with Barry because he's a good person to have on your side.
Because he hit Paul Sirenen with an elbow, which nowadays he would get life.
Get jail for that one.
Here it is here, off the kickoff. Look at that elbow.
Yeah.
And they used to chant at games, Barry's going to get you. Look at that elbow.
Beauty. Yeah, so I played a lot with Barry, but as I say, it was good to have on your side. But the only time I played against him was once when I was playing for England against Ireland, because he played for Ireland, Barry. And another time when in the 2005 Grand Final, I was guesting for Bradford. When you went over to Warrington that time, I was at Bradford. We made the Grand Final. It was against Leeds. And they did actually build up, leading up to the game, Morley against McDermott and all this. And then in the Grand Final, he caught me a beauty. And then I was on the floor seeing stars, and Justin Harris, who's a friend of Barry's, and myself, he said, "Get up, you're going to get Barry in trouble." And I was thinking, I'm not doing it on purpose. I said, I literally can't get up, but I did get up and carry on for the rest of the game. So he's got the bragging rights between him and I.
Yeah. You say you like that physical side of the game. Did you like that confrontation? Did you pick someone out in the opposition every game and go, that's who I'm going after?
Yeah. So we had a bit of fun with that. So I had my little black book, particularly in Sydney. and whoever was getting on my nerves that week, I'd put him in the book, and then that'd be it. Then I'd go for him. And then my teammates would be coming up to me, can you put so-and-so in your book? It's a right idiot. And then I was happy to oblige. But me and Pete Cusack was rooming the Ezron, and then we'd wake up in the morning, he said, right, Moz, who's in the book today? And then we'd just pick an opponent. And but it was good because it gave me something to focus on. And as I say, it was a bit of fun.
Well, the book had a good memory. I remember Owen Goodenbill. Remember he got Ned Caddick?
He did, yeah.
Remember you said, mate. And then 12 months later we played him. When he played for 12 months, and you hammered him.
Nothing like holding a grudge.
Yeah,
Went to the index.
Good memory. Well, what happened after the game, Ricky Stewart showed it on video. And it was a great shot, it was a brilliant shot, but he was offside. And just when he stood over him and gave him all that, Ricky said, "That's I don't want to see that ever again. If anyone does that ever again, you go and stick up for your mate." And it stuck in my memory. And it took me 12 months, but I got my own back on Owen, and it was it was a nice feeling.
Be good reading the book, wouldn't it?
Oh, wouldn't it? There was always a boom about you, Moz, and teams obviously tried to get you out to Australia. Why did you choose the Roosters?
Well, I played a test match for Great Britain. You might have played up in Brisbane in '99, and I played well. We got well beat, but I played well. And the great Arthur Beetson come up to me in the players' bar and said, "I want to talk to you about playing in the NRL and playing for the Roosters." Nick Politis was also in the room, but
that helps.
I didn't think too much of it at the time, to be fair, but Graham Murray, who I'd worked with in England for a couple of years, he got the head coaching position there a couple of weeks later, and I thought, you know, it'd be great to work with Muzzler again because I got on great with him. So that's how it happened. I had another year on my contract at Leeds, so I was happy to play that out. But halfway through that year, that's when I made the decision to sign. But I was only 23-year-old, so young really, still a kid. But so glad I made the decision. It was fantastic.
Mate, on Sundays, you used to go missing because you used to go to church. And even if we had an away game, you'd always find time to go to church. You know, I think when you watch you play, you'd think the last thing you'd be doing is going to church.
But a lot of apologising to do.
What did it mean?
That's what Catholicism's about. You can sin, take someone's head off on a Friday and go say sorry on a Sunday and everything's forgiven. But no, I just got brought up that way. And where I lived in Cudgee, there was St Bridget's in the street, beautiful church. So I used to really always enjoy going, particularly on game day. You know, it's just a nice place to think and get in the right frame of mind. But yeah, you wouldn't think church choir boy Morley church again. Yeah.
What about when you moved out here? You grew up in Salford. The north of England can be grim. And then you moved to the eastern suburbs of Sydney. How was that?
Oh, it was unbelievable. I mean, it took me probably about a month or a couple of months to get my head round. You're not on holiday. Just because there's a beach at the end of your street, you know, you're here to do a job, you're here to work. So I had to get out of the mindset of, you know, as I say, the sun, not holiday mode, and get in the groove of training and playing. But once I did get used to that, it was fantastic. And obviously, friends and family who come out, they got to experience the great lifestyle as well. And it was great. It was great part of my life, not just my career, but my life. As I say, I was a young man, and did some growing up here, and it was we had a bit of success, which does help.
Did Moz's brother take your head off in a game?
He tells me he does. He played for Wales, Chris.
Played for Wales?
And,
took your head off?
Yeah, well,
I remember the game.
He was the best player in the world at the time. It was a semi-final of the World Cup.
Yeah, they had us beat.
They did have you, but then he come off and he wasn't bothered about winning or losing. Just said, "Yeah, I got that Brad Fittler." And I took his head off. So good old Morley. Yeah.
Mate, you talk about coming over to Australia. Why did you leave? Like, I thought you, out of a lot of people, you looked at home and you looked comfortable. Why did you go back to England?
We were very settled here. My girlfriend, who's now my wife, we fell pregnant with our first child, and that's the reason. So I was talking to the Roosters about extending for a year or two, and then we fell pregnant. But then the English clubs were coming in with 4-year deals, which is a bit of security as well, and also having family around us, you know, at that special time. So that was the reason to go home, really.
Sam Burgess, hero out here, especially with St George fans. Tell us about Sam.
Oh, well, he's best player I played with.
Bunnies fans.
Yeah. No, he's best player I played with. I could tell from an early age. He made his test debut at 18-year-old against the Kiwis.
Is that when he smashed Footy?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, the Kiwis, Australia were always a better side internationally, but the Kiwis were always more physical.
Really?
And for him as an 18-year-old to stand up to them and to give some massive shots. I went home to my wife and said, look, this kid, watch him, he's in for... he's got a massive career ahead of him. I was delighted, you know, when he come out here and fulfilled his potential. Great guy as well, proud to call him a mate, and went to his wedding actually at end of last year. And yeah, he's, as I say, I got to play with, my hero growing up was Ellery Hanley. I played on my debut as a 17-year-old, I got to play with Ellery Hanley. So I've got to say he's my hero. But in terms of who I played with for a long amount of time, Sam was definitely the best player I played with, yeah.
There's a number of Englishmen over here playing in the NRL. There's talk of the NRL actually taking a stake out in the Super League over in the UK. Is that a positive move? You think that'll be positive for the game over there?
I definitely think so. The game is struggling a little bit commercially over in the UK. Unless you've got a rich benefactor at the club who's willing to put a couple of £1 million in.
Like a Simon Moran.
Like a Simon Moran, yeah. I mean, some clubs are fortunate. Not every club's got that luxury. So it does need a cash injection, and also I think it needs a rethink on how they sell the game into commercially and that kind of thing. But the NRL obviously doing a fantastic job. If anyone can help the Super League, I think the NRL can. I think it could be a great move for both parties.
What about the way the game's going, Moz? Obviously, they've drawn a line in the sand with, you know, head highs. There's a lot of talk about concussion at the moment. What's your thoughts on the way the game's going and how they're dealing with that part of the players?
I think, you know, if you've got a young kid and you want them to play rugby league, I think the way they're going about it is the game's as safe now as it ever has been, which is great. I think in the UK they did go a little bit too far in terms of late tackles and high tackles, that kind of thing. But I think they've got the balance now. They've gone a little bit backward now where they are letting a little bit more go, because it was just stop start, and it wasn't adding to the experience of watching a game live. So I think they've got the balance right now. And you know, when you do get a knock in training or at games, I think, you know, the stand down time is fantastic, because you don't know what damage you're doing to yourself. You're obviously, when you play rugby league, you're obviously going to get a few issues post playing, but if you can limit that, you know, head knocks in particular, I think it's only a good thing.
You two won a comp in 2002 with the Roosters. All anyone talks about was Richard Villasanti headbutting Freddy, and then you went Black Book.
yeah, the Black Book. Yeah, it was putting on the goal.
Here it is. Here we're just looking at it.
Yeah. But it was. Yeah, it was a belter, wasn't it?
Mate, the bloke who elbowed me, he's the one who knocked me out.
Oh,
Freddie,
right.
did you say anything
about me straight in the chin?
Did you say anything to Moz, or did you say anything to Freddie?
No, and the funny thing was, we didn't say anything to each other. The game was in the balance at this stage, and then with the forward, we all just looked at the forwards, and it was an unwritten. It didn't have to be said really. It was a case of, right, let's get this fella, and I got good on him there. But everyone that fired everyone up. Yeah. So in a way, it was great what he did. It was probably the pivotal moment.
And there was another one. You were the fastest send-off in rugby league history, is when you hit poor old Kernsey off the kick-off.
Yeah. Well, that was the case of getting.
Talk us through this one, Moz.
Well, I was playing in Australia at the time, and I just played in a grand final. I just got the Player of the Year award actually at the Star Studio Roosters, and I just felt on top of my game. I just felt like the baddest forward on the planet. And then I got back to England and I said, right, I'm going to show my British teammates how to handle these Aussies. And in case of getting too fired up, and we all know what happened. But I thought the ref could have just put on report. Obviously, a bit biased.
Poor old Kernsey, the world's nicest front rower.
He's a great guy. I've spoke to him since. He's forgiven me, so we're all good.
What did you take back to England? Obviously, you came over and spent time with the Roosters, and you went back, and you captained Leeds, I think.
Warrington.
Yeah. What did you take back? What did you learn from Australia that England needed?
Well, I was just amazed at how fit the players were when I come over. When I was playing for Leeds, I was probably one of the fittest lads there, but I got here and very, very fit side. There was, you know, Rico and Simon Benetti, Fitzy, and I was way behind these guys, so I had to work on my fitness to keep up with these guys. So, but then, we was a fit side. You know, we had the defence, you know, rushing up, and you can't do that unless you're physically fit. So I took that back, and you know, I always tried to lead by example in training, in the fitness side in particular. So I think that helped my game, and I did actually change the way I played the game. When I got asked the captain Warrington, I just thought, I don't want to be a captain getting sent off, getting suspended, that kind of thing. So it was only a subtle change, but proud to say I never got sent off for the rest of my career, and as I say, tried to lead the way fitness-wise. So I think it certainly helped me playing in the NRL to take back to the UK. Yeah.
A lot of excitement at the moment. There's a three-test Ashes series over in England at the end of the year. How will England go against the Aussies?
I think they'll go well. I mean, it's on home soil, which is always a bonus for the English, but I can't believe it's been that long. You know, for me, growing up, it was Great Britain then, but Great Britain and the Aussies, that was what rugby league was all about. It's the oldest and fiercest rivalry, and it used to be every couple of years, you know, either down under or up north, and it was fantastic. And as I say, I can't believe it's been that long, but the interest it's generated in the UK has been massive. And as I say, rugby league is struggling. It will be a genuine shot in the arm for the Rugby League, Super League over there. Can't wait for it, but I think they've done well. They beat Samoa and they beat Tonga recently in Test series, but you want to go up against the best. The Aussies, the Aussies are the best, and there's nothing like playing against the old enemy.
He's getting excited. You can see his forearms starting to...
Getting the ball, he got the ball.
So no, to get the adrenaline flowing, but I think they'll go well. They'll give it a shot. Hopefully, you know, Australia will start favourites, but you know, very, very exciting.
Okay, well, thanks for coming on, Moz. Stay with us after the break. You're going to stick around for the pass.
I'll stick around for the pass.
Okay, pass the ball. Okay, stay with us more for the Sunday Footy Show.
Welcome to the passing competition, so no bloody arguments, you understand? No foot fault there, Greeny. And a 10. No pressure, Luke. This is one of the more important things that happens here on a Sunday, understand? Oh, beautiful. Rounds of applause.
Yes, welcome to another award-winning segment. It is Freddy's Pass-Off, and today we have some very special guests from the Ingleburn Tigers. We have Moira, Kyson, and Marcus joining us. So, Marcus, you're going to be our rep who's going to pass, correct? Yeah. And you're going to be up against Adrian Morley, and we've got Maya and Jonah, Adrian's two kids. They're on holidays, big wave for the camera.
You scored a try today.
Jonah played today for the Coogee Dolphins and up against Mascot, right? You got a try? Yes. Well, you're going to have to help your dad now get some points, all right? So come over here.
Okay.
Right. Your dad's up first.
Adrian's up first,
so
and you kids have to help collect the balls, okay?
You got to come over here.
So when they go through the hole,
you got to come and help get the ball back.
As quick as possible.
30 seconds each side.
Yeah. Right, 3, 2, 1, go, Moz.
Let's go.
Yo,
put the
ball,
balls
get
over
it.
there.
Show us the ball.
Yeah, there we go.
Jonah.
Fred.
You got to throw more, Moz. You got to throw more, mate. That's it. That's better.
Yeah, Moz up.
Has he got
more,
one
mate?
yet?
More.
Get off me, mate.
Yep.
Come on.
Yeah.
Close.
Have you got any true, Moz?
Yeah,
there you go.
Finally.
Pretend you're playing darts. Tommies love the darts.
Yep.
Good job.
There we go.
2,
Change
1,
over, Moz.
swap sides. Swap sides.
That's the best side.
Come on.
How many? Oh, that's 2. I think that's your second.
hang on.
On a roll.
Yes,
Moz. Oh.
No.
Yep.
Close. Oh, you right? It's about 5 now. He's getting puffed out. 7 seconds.
Go, Moz. Yeah,
5, 4, 3, 2.
One more.
Time's up.
You got a tenner.
Really just got one in for him. Well done. All right. Are you puffed from that?
I am puffed out.
And a bit sweaty.
Who's the representative here?
Marcus.
We've got a score for Adrian Morley. Drum roll 206. Not bad. Not bad at all.
Great,
So. And Marcus gets a bit further up. Is that correct? This is the line?
Yeah.
So as long as you stay behind that line, you've got this, all right?
Let's go,
Marcus from the Ingleburn Tigers. This is your moment, all
Quick
right?
fire,
All your
mate.
friends and family are watching at home.
Hey, you want to come down here?
Get your footwork right.
Simon Dwyer was an Ingleburn man. What a
Alrighty.
gun he was.
Where's that at?
Let's go. 3,
Now past Liverpool.
2,
1.
1. Go. Go, Marcus.
Whoa.
Good job. Keep going.
There we go, Marcus.
You got to throw more, mate. You got.
There we go.
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
it. 2 in a row.
Go,
Keep going, mate.
Marcus.
Keep going.
Well
Keep
done.
trying. Go.
That's it, bud.
Good stuff.
Keep going, mate. More. You got to throw more. More.
Yes.
More. There you go.
On fire.
There you go.
And again.
Yes.
And again.
Oh, yeah. Ooh.
Oh, yeah. Oh, what a superstar, Marcus.
Let's go.
Oh,
Get your foot on the line, too.
Yep.
Offside.
Offsides,
Other
mate.
side. Yo.
Oh,
That's it. Fire it through.
Yep.
good job, Marcus.
Oh, look at the carnage. Yep, Moz.
Concentration faces on.
Moz. Come on,
Good
mate.
stuff.
That's it. Get it through there, Marcus.
Good boy.
Got this
buddy.
home stretch, Marcus. You've got
That
boy.
away. There's 2 in a row. And
Yes.
3.
Keep going,
10
mate. Keep going.
seconds.
180.
And again.
Hey.
And again.
4,
Keep going.
3,
More.
2,
There we go.
1. Yes.
Finish
Good
with
job,
the 3.
Marcus. Big round of applause from all the friends and family. Gather round. Come on, kids. Come in.
Marcus.
Come in for the
You've
last
got a mic
shot.
on. How do you reckon you went?
Oh, yeah, I reckon I did pretty good.
You think you're better than Adrian?
Oh, maybe.
You hit him. 233.
Oh,
Well done, Marcus. Round of applause. Well done. We're going to get the official leaderboards after the break, but thank you so much to Ingleburn Tigers for coming in and also for Adrian for coming in for Turn It Up and this as well. So I hope you enjoy the rest of your holiday. Really appreciate it.
Go, Jonah.
All right, stick around and plenty more coming up on the Sunday Footy Show.
Oh, yeah. Bang.
Future broadcasters, our brand new Sunday Footy Sidekick competition could have your child hosting their own segment, interviewing players, chatting to the experts, even calling in the commentary box. Simply scan the QR code on your screen, upload a video and tell us in 25 words or less why your child is perfect for the job. So very much looking forward to meeting our Sunday Sidekick this afternoon. We've had some great ones so far in season 2025. And this is the leaderboard for Freddy's pass-off. So we're at 5th, Adrian Morley. Not too bad. Hasm still on top. He'll be tough to beat there. And as for our special guests, the Ingleburn Tigers, 3rd position. Great effort there from Marcus. Superstar of the future, that is for sure. And the Narrabeen Sharks are still out on top with 301. So all of our guests that come in do get a League Stars pack. So make sure you continue to tune in for all of our superstars of the future. Some current superstars will be in action this afternoon for our match from 3 p.m. It is the Tigers taking on the Knights. Benji Marshall said this week that this is his best 17. So we've got Jerome Luai back, and because they've had some injuries and suspensions, but essentially this is the side that he believes is the best and can get the Tigers into the top 8.
Well, it's a positive sign. It'll be interesting how they carry that confidence. But alternatively, the Knights, they're down.
Yeah.
They're plenty out.
Yeah.
Nervous, Joey?
No bigger superstars than the 2 fullbacks. Buller up against Ponga. That's
Talk about movers.
This could be the game of the round. This could be the game of the round. They both like using the football, play a great style, and if their
They need to
superstars
loosen
can
up, the
fire,
Knights.
Totally agree.
They need to loosen up.
Well, round 1, the Knights got over the Tigers in a tight one. With the stats, the Tigers should have won. They'd be disappointed in that game. Yeah, sellout crowd, Sunday afternoon footy, beautiful day. It will be packed. I think, yeah, it's pretty much sold out. So the atmosphere up there, it's going to be special.
Jerome
Can't wait
Luai
for
back.
it. Jerome Luai back.
And this bloke, he's coming off a shoulder reconstruction in the off-season, just starting to get his game fitness now. He moves so well.
He
We
said
talk about
that try
Hemiso.
off the dropout. That was impressive.
Matt Arthur making his debut for the Knights. Brad Arthur's son.
Yeah.
Yeah, so good luck to Matt.
He's come through, he's played like junior origins, under 19s.
He's as tough as they come. Probably too tough for his own good. Anyway, he'll get out there today and he'll be going mad. Can't wait.
What a place to make your debut up there, full crowd.
Sold out.
I played in a schoolboy game up there I was, I think, year 11 or 12, and we had a game against England. And they put us just before first grade and it was sold out. It was unbelievable. I remember it forever.
Well, the 2 NRL games today are sold out. You got Melbourne down there against the Warriors at Amy Park. The bogey team. 116 straight, Melbourne.
Well done.
And Newcastle up against the Tigers. So, yeah, healthy day for the game.
All right, so Joey, I'm assuming is Knights, but tip?
Tigers and Melbourne.
Melbourne Tiger.
Okay, well... Joey?
Yeah, I'm
anything?
On my own, as usual. Melbourne. Well, that bogey team will be hard to beat down there.
There we go. All right. Stay with us here on the Sunday Footy Show. We're going to wrap it all up after the break. See you in a sec. Yeah. Oh, yes, cannot wait for 100% footy tomorrow night. So it is back to Monday nights, 8:40 p.m. Cameron Smith and our very special guest, Rabbitohs superstar Cody Walker. Can't wait for that and can't wait for the match this afternoon between the Knights and the Tigers. So Billy and Joey will be on your panel here for the coverage, and Freddy is making the mad dash up to Newcastle. You looking forward to that one?
Oh, it'd be awesome. Yeah. Sunday afternoon footy up there, packed crowd. Little Tigers. I like watching the Tigers.
Up against...
the hope of the western suburbs.
Yep. Millie Elliott will be on the sideline with you, so can't wait for that. Hope everyone has enjoyed the show. Enjoy the footy this afternoon, and we will see you next week.